All right, and we are live. How's it going? Mets, Yankees, or whoever you're a fan of, it's your boy Wardy, and we're back at it with the latest post-game show as the Mets take game one of a two-game set, their second Subway Series matchup of the year, the first time in the Bronx, and they take game one by a final score of 9-3. Headlined by Big Pete, Meat Pete, that being in Polar Bear Alonso. We have a lot to get into on Pete Alonso's big night, and he, of course, is going to be Wardy's player of the game. We're going to cut right to the chase with that one. We're going to talk about Jeff McHitz today, really balling out, really looking good in a couple games as of late for him. Francisco Lindor looking great. The Mets' heart of their offense came through big time today. Justin Verlander with a really strong outing. Once again, I saw JV's last start, which was 8 masterclass innings against the Chicago White Sox. Tonight, he goes out with 6 shutty, which is what you love to see. So a lot of positives in Mets land tonight, and even though that my feelings on how they should be likely selling by the trade deadline are still very much there, doesn't change the fact that whenever this team wins and does in a dominant fashion against the Yanks no less, I'm always going to be having myself a happy night. So we have a lot to get into, breaking down the game, innings 1 through 9, sharing some highlights with you all, getting to the player of the game, that being in Polar Bear Pete, Big Meat Pete, Pistol Pete, however you want to call him, all that and more. But before we do, make sure to spam those W's in the live chat. Happy to have you guys all in here. It's my 100, 200, 300 live viewers, people watching on replay. The same applies. How's everybody doing tonight? You know, Subway Series matchup, it's always a good time. There is a solid chance I will be at tomorrow's game, so if I am, then you'll see a post-game recap with me just having a little mic on myself, talking about hopefully a Mets series sweep against the Yanks in the Bronx. And if I will be there, I likely will be behind home plate too. So don't know for certain it'll be a last-minute decision, but look out for your boy tomorrow, potentially behind home plate there in the Bronx. So keep you guys updated. But let's get into it. Let's talk about the Metropolitans again as they take game one of this two-game set against the Yanks. They waddle into the Bronx, dropping another consecutive series. This Mets team has not been good all year long that we've seen. However, tonight they go against a Domingo Germán who pitched a perfect game this year against the Oakland A's, and a Yanks team that has not been good since losing Aaron Judge to injury. And in doing so, the Mets come out early and often with the offense, and JV gave exactly what the Mets need tonight for overall a nice balanced victory. Yes, there were some bullpen hiccups and jams that we saw later on in the game after JV's departure. However, what we saw more than anything was a Mets team having a nice balanced, comfortable win. There weren't too many stresses tonight, and once they got that sizable lead, they were never looking back, and the added insult to injury to the Yanks later on in this ball game too. So a lot of positives to take away. Again, my viewpoint, my thought process on this club and where they stand in 2023 is not changing for the better. However, it is nice to see them again get this win, to say the least. Chris, thank you so much for the $5 holler. Chris says, this feels good. Life is great, Ori. Life is great, Chris. Not so much because of Mets this year, but life is great at the moment, and hope you're doing well, my friend. Thank you so much for the $5 holler. Let's get some hype in the chat to you. My members, all you guys, James, Kevin, all you beauties, happy to have you guys in here too. And more than anything, guys, I want to know, before we break down the game, apologies. Before we break down the game, I want to know, what is your biggest takeaway from tonight's win? How are you feeling about the Mets? Is your viewpoint changing at all? Is it standstill? Is it the same? Apologies, guys. Like I said, as I said in my last show, I've been coming off of a sinus infection. So if you hear me cough every now and then, or I mute myself and cough, that's the reason why. I talk really fast too. So naturally, that just tends to happen with like a dry throat. So apologies in advance, but let's talk about it. And also, shout out to my great sponsors, that being Mojo Sportsbook and Sober MLB, but a little bit later in the show is when we'll get into them. But let's talk about this ball game. I really want to get into it because the Mets had a lot of highlights, a lot of things that went in their favor. Oh, my God. The damn tickle in my throat's so annoying. Let's look at the offense tonight. Take a look at this. Take a gander, everybody. The Mets' total offense tonight. Jesus. Total offense tonight. And again, I haven't been coughing much all day. It's not until I'm doing these live shows because I talk really fast. So I may need to pipe it down just a little bit. Maybe just calm myself a little bit. But Mets out hit the Yanks tonight by 10-5 in hits. Runs, of course, were there by a total of 9-3. Actually, it might have been more than 10 hits. Let me check. Damn. Okay. Sorry for the coughing. 12 hits to 5. I had a refresh on Baseball Savant. But yeah, they had offense. They had it early. They had it often. And that's what you love to see. Brandon Nimmo. Can we just talk for a minute about Brandon Nimmo for just 1 second? Brandon Nimmo has been slugging the absolute you-know-what out of baseballs as of late. And he almost took the first at-bat that he had against Domingo Germán deep to right. It fell just short and ended up being a leadoff double. But the Mets would be able to draw drive in a run in this game, and it was early and it was often, all thanks to Pete Alonso. And before we get into Pete and his heroics today, which were so good, it was so great to see Pete Alonso snap out of the funk that he's been in. Jeff McNeil, the same applies. Francisco Lindor being productive too. But just look at the offense. Yes, the depth when you get in to batters 5 through 9, they did nothing today, but that top of the order was so vital, and that got the job done, and that is what you needed. It's nice to see the Mets head honchos from Nimmo to Lindor to McNeil to Alonso all thriving, and Mark Vientos too had himself a double today, so we'll gladly take that. So there were certainly positives that we saw on the offensive end, even though it wasn't with the entirety of the lineup. And then we saw some negatives later on in this ballgame. Shout out to the Yanks for being absolute schmucks by hitting the Mets kids back-to-back in Marky V and Francisco Alvarez. And Alvarez may be injured with his hand. I'm praying to God he's okay, and if he gets imaging, that comes back negative, because I was beyond fuming when we saw that happen in the ninth. I mean, it's ridiculous. The Mets have a sizable lead. All right, let's go up and in on 2 rookie batters in the Mets back-to-back. I understand it wasn't purposeful. Doesn't change the fact that it's ridiculous, and that's the type of shit where it's like you would love to see them retaliate. You really don't know how, but you would love to see that. I'm still pissed off about it. I'm not even going to lie. Seeing Alvarez grimace and fall down the way he did drives me nuts to no end. To no end today. I just pray he's okay and nothing's broken there or anything like that. But there's the offensive numbers. Pitching-wise, too, and then we'll get into innings 1 through 9. JV was an absolute stud tonight. I mean, did exactly what you need him to do. On 98 pitches, 6 shutty, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. Shout out. And again, I know he had a little bit of the command issue today, but he was able to keep things figured out and set straight. Shout out to my co-host on our podcast for Queen's Corner, that being Joe Serralo, who had his segment today on MLB TV for their Bettor's Eye, where he gives some betting picks. And one of his 2 or 3 picks today was Justin Verlander under on earned runs allowed at under 2.5. JV didn't allow 1 measly earned run today, which is what you love to see. So shout out to you, Joe, with the great pick, and shout out to JV with another solid outing. He's down to a 3.24 ERA on the season. Honestly, I mean, if JV can continue to be the guy that we've hoped that he would be for the entirety of the year, if he can continue to be that down the stretch, regardless on what's going to happen with this Mets team, because they likely aren't going anywhere this year at this rate, it would be nice to see him give us a reason to be excited and hoping that we have a healthy, confident, and comfortable JV for the 2024 season, because I don't see him getting dealt either, given his current contract status and his desire to play in New York more than anything. But now let's get into breaking down the game 1 through 9, and then we'll get into, a little bit more on Pete Alonso once we talk about his numbers. But the game starts there in the first, and again, make sure to smash that like and subscribe onto my 300-plus live viewers if you're watching live on a replay. Happy to have you guys all in here. Again, I'm sorry if I'm a little short-winded, if I have to pause myself. Like I said, every time that I've been doing these shows as of late, because I've been having a sinus issue, I just get this tickle in my throat and I have to cough right away. So apologies in advance. But in the first, Brandon Nimmo with that double, and then Pete Alonso drives him in with an RBI bloop single to left. The Mets take an early lead there in the first. In the bottom of the first, Justin Verlander with his first of multiple 1, 2, 3 innings today. We fast forward a little bit after that in the third, Francisco Lindor with a double, Jeff McNeil with a walk, and then Pete Alonso with a 3-run dick shot to left. It's his bomb. You love to see it. Pete Alonso with first of 2 homers on the night. This one goes to the left. The second one goes dead center. But just like that, the Mets have themselves a nice, sizable 4-0 lead through the first 3 innings in the Bronx. Yankees fans are acting quiet, and they would continue to be quiet for a good portion of the ball game. In the fifth, DJ Stewart rips a double. Yes, DJ Stewart had himself a double today. Isn't that crazy? DJ Stewart has an 800 OPS right now with the New York Metropolitans. Yes, you heard that correctly. That is a real stat. In the sixth, Pete Alonso, dead center bomb, 2-run ding-dong, his second home run of the night. Vogelback would go with a bomb to right after. The big boys on the block go back-to-back in the Bronx, and the Mets have themselves a massive lead at that point. Let me do the math. 4, 5, 6. The Mets had a 6-0 lead through the sixth, thanks to that Pete Alonso home run. And that's why we're going to just jump real quick to, of course, Wardy's player of the game, because well, you got to give some bravo, some kudos to Pete Alonso today. This is a guy that has certainly been struggling as of late that we have seen, but it's really, really nice to see Alonso kind of get locked in today, take advantage of some pitching where when Pete is on, he's barreling. I mean, that one, a little down and in two from Herman, just rips that to left. He felt great after that. Then he has a dead center bomb here too, which was a high heater, a pitch that a lot of the times Alonso's not getting under nearly enough. I mean, I shouldn't say that. He's getting under it too much, rather, which causes, a shallow fly out or something along, or a pop-up, an infield pop-up even. But Pete on that high heater took it dead center, and that was huge. Huge stuff for the Mets tonight. So again, Pete Alonso is your Wardy player of the game, going 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. If you feel differently at all, let me know in the live chat. I would love to hear it. All right, getting back into breaking down said ball game. Let's do it, everybody. Again, happy to have you guys all in here as we're breaking down the game that was in Metsland as they take game 1 of a 2-game set in the Bronx Subway Series Part 2 this year against those Yanks, winning by a final score of 9-3. We advance then to the 7th inning. Francisco Lindor reaches and gets to second base on a throw that's just out of the reach of Anthony Rizzo, and Jeff McHitz, my man, would make quick work of it with an RBI single to increase the Mets' lead. Then they're in the 8th because, of course, the Mets had some bullpen hiccups today. Brooks Raley allowed 2 earned runs. I mean, Dominic Leone wasn't able to do much. Grant Hartwig allowed at least 1 earned run. Thankfully, that's all she wrote, though. David Robertson and Adam Ottavino got the job done, which was huge to get the boys productive tonight and for them to be a team effort here, even though that they used more of the pen that we would have liked to see after the JV goes 6 scoreless. I digress. It's never truly easy with this club, but no less. You see there McNeil with his first multiple RBIs on the night. Because then as we get to the 8th, Mark Vientos rips himself a double. You love to see that. The Mets would not score Marky V in that situation. However, it was nice to see him rip that double down the third baseline and put himself in scoring position. We advance then to the 9th. McNeil with a 2-run double. Jeff McNeil with 3 RBIs on the day, 2 hits. This is a Jeff we all know and love, and I truly pray that this is a McNeil that we see more and more of in the coming days and weeks for the remainder of the season. Jeff McNeil at his best as a multi-hits god every single night out there and driving in runs and clutch situations. He did a fantastic job at doing exactly that tonight, and hopefully this is a start of more run production and more consistency on the hitting front, not pulling the ball as much, that being in Jeff McNeil. But Jeff drives in those 2, Alonso with a walk, and then that's where we get into the controversy in the 9th as both Mark Vientos and Francisco Alvarez are hit by pitches. And Vientos looked like he was in some pain, so it goes down to first base. Alvarez comes in, and Alvy gets drilled so hard on the hand and clearly grimacing in a lot of pain. He exits the game not long after that, and because of that reasoning, Omar Narvaez would come in to catch there in the 9th inning against those Yanks. So fingers crossed, we have to pray to the baseball gods, whoever's up there, right, to make sure that Francisco Alvarez is going to be okay, because that is the most important thing out of this entire game, in my opinion. As great as it was to see some production, from Alonso to McNeil to Lindor to JV going 6 shutty, that's all fine and all. But for the remainder of the year, what's really important, I pray that Alvarez is okay. So that is truly my main focus out of everything that we've seen going on right now. Even if he has to take some days off, that's fine. Don't rush him if he has a lot of swelling, bruising going on. Just make sure that he is okay for when you throw him back out there next. But before we go any further, Mox is selling. Appreciate that. No, trust me, I've been on meds and everything. It's towards the tail end of it because I've been dealing with the sinus infection for, since what? Thursday of last week. So it's been Wednesday or Thursday. So I'm not contagious or anything like that. Just annoying. You guys know the drill. And it's always worse when you get it in the summer too. It's like winter, okay, it's justified, but it's like, really, I have a cough here in the summer. Like, that's such a pain in the neck. And honestly, I truly blame people that sat behind me at the Mets-Dodgers game last weekend. They know who they were. They were Dodgers fans. This one woman was freaking hacking her lungs out the entire effing game with my brother and I sitting right there. My brother got the same illness that I did. So I think I know who's the culprit. I didn't get her name or number, but man, oh man, that has to be the reason. That has to be. I mean, the stars align too well there. James, thank you so much for the long-term membership, brother. You know I love and appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Wardy, am I going to the game on the 27th? Because if so, I will also be in attendance. The 27th, I likely will not be. The only game I'd be going to this week is tomorrow's game, potentially behind home plate for that second game of the Bronx Mets Yankees Subway Series matchup. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow too. But now let's get into a little bit on one of our awesome sponsors on the channel that you guys know so well, that being at Mojo Sportsbook. For those that don't know about Mojo Sportsbook, I got to put you on for a second, because if you are a New Jersey resident and you are a Mets fan, then listen up, because this pertains to exactly you. Let me tell you a little bit about Mojo, the live betting stock market that's operating in New Jersey. Every bet on Mojo offers live trading so you can get in and get out all game long. It's stock trade meets sports betting with money lines, player props, and a whole new career law bet they've created. So it's so unique about this app that you can download by clicking the link in the description using my promo code here shortly. As I'll explain, you can not only do money lines, K-props, all this fun stuff that you would normally do as a sports bettor, but you can also invest on players on this as if they're actual stock. So the same way that you use the Robinhood app or any other type of stock market thing where you're investing in the stock market, you're investing on companies, and you can live trade. Or what you can do is hold on to that stock for however long you want if that stock is going to say increase, and then you're looking great. What is so awesome here about Mojo is that you can invest on real players. You can invest on Francisco Alvarez. You can invest on Pete Alonso. Tonight, it is that easy. And the best part of it all, out of all this, is that you're in total control of your bets. Cash in when you're up, or cash out if it's going bad. Mojo's cash outs are way more available than any other sports book. So all you gotta do is download the app now by clicking the link in the description using my promo code WardyNYM. That is WARDYNYM for a 20% deposit match up to $100. Again, that is promo code WardyNYM, WARDYNYM for a 20% deposit match up to $100. And shout out to Mojo Sportsbook for being a great sponsor on the channel. I know many of you guys have already checked out Mojo. Make sure you're tuning in and locking in with them. And I really appreciate the support that you guys give these sponsors on the channel, especially because Mojo, big thing rolling out with them real soon that I'm excited to share with you all, that I think a lot of you guys, not only the Mets fandom, but sports fandom as a whole, are thoroughly going to enjoy. But again, appreciate that, guys, as always. But now let's get into it a little bit. I'll be at the game also tomorrow night. Awesome, my man. Hope you have a fantastic time. Who's going to the game Saturday? Not sure, David. Professional hater, thank you so much for the $5. Let's get into it. We won, but I'm upset. We were up 7-0, and we're on the verge of choking because Epler doesn't know how to build a bullpen. We could go up 15-0. I'm nervous. I mean, the bullpen is what it is. I know it's frustrating. I know that we have a lot of feelings towards Epler and the staff as a whole. However, thankfully the Mets won tonight. You know how many games the Mets have lost this year because of the bullpen? Because of lack of pitching. So thankfully this was at least one of those games where that wasn't the case, right? It's rare, but thankfully tonight was one of those cases where it wasn't an issue, where they were able to leg through it. They were able to get the job done. It wasn't too much of a drag. And more than anything, I understand that's not the most appealing thing because 5 through 9 did nothing tonight. However, there is something to be said about 1 through 4 and seeing that being in Nimmo. McNeil, Alonso, Lindor, your core 4 of your offense that you need to step up more than anything. Regardless on how the remainder of the season unravels, this is something that's vital for this club to get consistent production from these 4-headed horsemen. You know, I was going to say the 4 musketeers, but it's the 3 musketeers, so I'm just an effing idiot. That's why I'm wearing the schmuck shirt tonight. But in all seriousness, really, really happy with the production that we got from them. Brennan Nimmo barreling baseballs the way that he has been great. Of course, the OBP and the average has gone down a little bit in doing so, but I like to see our leadoff man have some power. You know, it's refreshing. You know, reminds me of like a George Springer, if you will, who of course has had plenty of success with power in that leadoff role. Recently, funny enough, Carlos Correa, that I know all of us Mets fans love or hate with the Minnesota Twins, has been batting much better as of late when in that leadoff spot. And of course, he has power to produce there too. But Lindor with a 3-hit night, 3 runs, that's what you love to see. Francisco has been great and getting extra bases this year. However, he has not been great on being a consistent hitter, getting on base multiple times, thanks to say a single. But he managed to do that tonight, which is always important. McHits with his 2-for-4 night, 3 RBI stakes, which is what you love to see. And of course, Pete Alonso, that we emphasized earlier in the show, that'll show one more time being the player of the game, doing what he did tonight is what you love every single time. And do I have his stats wrong? I probably do have his stats wrong. Actually, no, I don't. Okay, good. Alonso now has 28 home runs on the season. Quick question to everyone in the live chat because this is not going to be too long-winded of a show tonight. As you guys can tell, I'm trying to pace myself so I'm not coughing up a lot up here. But what I want to know from everyone in the live chat, people on replay in the comments below, what is your prediction for Pete Alonso this season? Where do you think he's going to end up in the home run list? Because I don't recall what my prediction was heading into the season. It was probably really high. But I easily see Pete Alonso still ending the season with 40 to 45 home runs. I truly believe that is a likelihood of happening because there's still a good amount of games left right now on the season. I'm actually going to double check to see exactly how much games are left, that being in Alonso's regard. So the Mets are 47 and 53. Let's do some math because I can't do it. Okay, so we only have 62 games left this year. Holy guacamole, this thing is flying. Wow, okay. Gotcha. All right, so 62 games left this season. What is your prediction? How many bombs do you think is going to happen? Chris Ferraro, hope you're doing well, my brother. Happy to have you in here. Happy to have all you guys watching live on a replay as we're breaking down again the latest game that was the Metropolitans take game one of a 2-game set against the Yanks by a final score of 9-3. Yeah, continue to get your predictions in, guys. And as you're doing your predictions, we're going to do our second and final sponsor ad read, that being our great friends at Sorare MLB. I'll be brief with this. A lot of you guys know Sorare already. It's the best MLB fantasy game out there. It's free to play. You do not have to spend a dime if you do not want to. You draft your team, you sign up, you enter weekly tournaments, and you win great cash prizes, hundreds if not thousands of dollars, VIP access to meet your favorite players, free tickets to games, and a whole lot more. And what we're doing now, as we've been doing all season long, is a great campaign with Sorare MLB. So by clicking the link in the description and signing up to my unique Wardy Sorare MLB League, so you click the link right away, it says, do you want to join Wardy's League? You click yes, you draft your team, you enter weekly tournaments. Again, you do not have to spend a dime on the game if you do not want to. However, you can if you'd like to upgrade your team and make it as best as humanly possible and, unique to you with these awesome unique cards that vary in commonality to super rare type cards, however you want them. But by signing up and doing all these steps, you're automatically entered for your chance at winning a Mets jersey. We've already given away a Brett Beatty jersey and a Francisco Alvarez jersey over the past 2 months. And now we're giving away a jersey of any active player on the Mets to one lucky winner that signs up, clicking the link in the description. Of course, drafting your team, entering weekly tournaments, and playing against myself and other amazing Mets fans in this community. By doing all those steps, and as long as they see you signed up and you enter these tournaments, you're automatically entered for your chance at winning a jersey at the month's end, which is coming up soon. We're basically a week away. As soon as the trade deadline is done, I will announce the jersey giveaway winner the following day or so. So make sure you're signing up today. And of course, shout out to Sorare MLB for being a fantastic sponsor on the channel, as they have been all season long. Sorare has been a blast this season. Get some warm milk. Appreciate that, Enzo. Thank you. What do I sound like, a cat? David, thank you so much for the comment. We're a great one tonight. Alonso finally got his homer stroke back. Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking so out of pocket. I don't know what I was going to say there. Never mind. Wicked, how's it going? What's up, Tyler? Herman is truly one of the worst Yankees starting pitchers of recent memory. It's funny. It's funny how Herman is with basically getting checked and caught twice cheating this year. Maybe just once. I could be wrong. Having a perfect game thrown this year, and yet to hear Yankees fans make that comment out of it. He's just inconsistent. I get it. I 100% get it. Doesn't have the great track record too. I mean, we're not going to get into that, unfortunately, as common as that has been with, I feel like, players in baseball. It really pisses me off. But yeah, Herman's an interesting one. Not a fan of his. Player aside, just not a fan of a guy that likes to get into some domestic abuse. However, what I am a fan of is the Mets beating him around like they did today. No pun intended, literally. So happy with that performance from the Mets. You'll love to see that. And yeah, that's really all I got to say on the Herman front. Not much more. Yanks fans, I'm curious to know how you guys are feeling, because I know a lot of you guys have been feeling like the sky's fallen. Us Mets fans have felt the exact same way, because this team has been nothing short of utter dog shit for the vast majority of the season. So I feel that too. I mean, New York fans can unite right now. Both teams are not good. They're just not good. And the lack of excitement this year with Subway Series has been truly unprecedented. Because of how bad both these teams have been the entire time. It's just not fun. And I always get excited. I really get excited for the Subway Series. Get so hyped up. Like the 2021 Subway Series, seeing Stan and Lindor go back at it, seeing, the Citi Field flooded, seeing, diehard Puerto Rican fans jumping on the dugout with their PR flag. Literally the dopest shit you'll ever see. And I wish every game was like that, but just not, unfortunately. And also fantastic job by the MLB schedule makers to not have any of these games on the weekend this year. Like, are you that thick-headed? I guess you are. Same thing with next year, if I'm not mistaken. Both Subway Series matchups in Queens and then the Bronx. Neither of them are on the weekend. Like, pardon my French, earmuffs, kids. What the fuck are we doing here? It's some of the biggest games, regular season games that fans look forward to all year. Let's not do it on the weekend. God forbid. It's not like you're only going to sell out, but have the most hyped crowd imaginable. No. Let's do it on like a Monday, a Tuesday. Like, what are we doing here? It's nonsense. It pisses me off so much, but I digress. It's just one of many things that piss me off in this land you call sports. But before I get out of here, shout out to you, Matthew. Hope you're doing well, brother. That just chimed in. Before I get out of here, I want to update you guys again that yes, if I'm not covering the game tomorrow, it is because I'm likely in the Bronx sitting behind home plate at said ball game. So I will keep you guys posted on the community tab, on Twitter, all that fun stuff on social media to let you know what your boy will be doing. If I attend the game, look out for your short schmuck boy, probably wearing the WardyNYM shirt like I always do, and hoping to meet some of you amazing Mets fans or Yanks fans if you'll ever hate me. Looking forward to running into you guys too. Was at the Subway Series last year in the Bronx. Had a lot of fun. Mets lost that game. Max got beat around a little bit. So yeah, we'll see how they do tomorrow. But more than anything, just happy to see the Mets get a win. A nice, kind of confident looking win, even though that they had some bullpen hiccups. And I'm hoping to see what they can do more of tomorrow versus lack thereof against this Yankees team. Thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support, the donations, all that fun stuff. I'll see you again real soon.